In a world where the dead walk and the living are far more dangerous, one man stands between chaos and the fragile threat of humanity: Rick Grimes. When the world ended, Rick wasn't there to see it. He woke up alone in a hospital bed, surrounded by silence and death. The world he knew, his family, his friends, his badge, all gone, buried under the ruins of civilization. That moment, stumbling through deserted hallways and into a nightmare of corpses and decay, wasn't just the beginning of his survival story. It was the birth of something far more powerful. A leader, a father, a man forced to choose between morality and survival, again and again. Rick Grimes didn't ask to be a hero. He was just a sheriff, a man who believed in justice, in the law, in the idea that good could prevail. But in the apocalypse, those rules turned to ash. Every decision became a gamble with death. Every breath came with the weight of others, depending on him. From the farm to the prison, from Alexandria to the bridge, Rick evolved, no longer just fighting walkers, but the darkness growing inside every human heart. His story isn't about the undead, it's about the living, the broken, desperate, and hopeful fragments of humanity trying to survive when the world no longer deserves saving. Rick became their anchor, their conscience, and at times their executioner. Each scar on his face tells a story of loss, love, and sacrifice. He became the man who did what had to be done, even when it shattered him. Yet beneath the blood and grit, there's still that same spark, the man who once wore a badge and believed in the good of people. That belief has been tested, tortured, and buried under layers of pain, but it never fully died. Because Rick Grimes isn't just surviving the apocalypse. He's redefining what it means to be human in a world where humanity itself is the rarest resource of all. Would you like me to make it sound more like a YouTube narration script or keep it as a written storytelling piece for articles posts? You said, more longer. ChatGPT said, perfect, here's a much longer, cinematic, and emotionally charged multi-paragraph hook piece about Rick Grimes, written in a storytelling style that feels like the opening of a documentary or a deep dive character video. It maintains a powerful hook at the start and expands with depth, emotion, and evolution, ideal for long-form content or narration. When the world ends, who do you become? For Rick Grimes, that question wasn't philosophical, it was survival. He opened his eyes in a cold, lifeless hospital bed, with no sound but the flicker of dying fluorescent lights. The last thing he remembered was a gunshot. The next thing he saw was hell on earth. Corpses walking, cities silent. The world he knew gone. His wife, his son, his badge, vanished like ghosts in the morning sun. In that instant, Rick didn't just wake up from a coma, he woke up into a nightmare that would transform him forever. From that first desperate walk down an empty road to the haunting sight of a little girl zombie clutching her teddy bear, Rick's journey began as a man trying to find his family. But along the way, he found something much heavier, the weight of leadership, the burden of hope, and the constant test of morality in a world where there were no rules left to follow. Rick Grimes became more than a survivor. He became a symbol of what humanity could still be: strong, flawed, and heartbreakingly resilient. Every step he took carved a legend. On Herschel's farm, Rick learned that even peace has an expiration date. At the prison, he built a home from ruins, believing for a moment that the world could be rebuilt. But peace never lasts long in the apocalypse. The governor, Negan, the Whisperers, each enemy forced Rick to question the thin line between protector and killer. He fought monsters wearing human faces, and sometimes he saw that same monster staring back at him in the mirror. Rick Grimes was once a man of the law, bound by right and wrong. But when the world stripped away those boundaries, he rewrote them.